I'd like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachak Wadash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is The Dream is Certain. That comes directly from the book of Daniel, the second chapter. And pretty much this lesson is inspired by a video. The brother Yahukanan from the London camp, he did a video that Elder Pastor was doing a video off of. And Elder Pastor's video was called "And All 10 Parts of the City Fell." And the brother Yahukanan was speaking about, I believe he said something about a vision that somebody was having. I'm not sure all of the details. But he was saying about 10 cities or something like that, something along the line that they got, blown up or whatever the case may be. I can't remember all the details. I watched that earlier today, and it reminded me of a video that I did probably maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago, and pretty much I had did a lesson similar to that based off of Stan Johnson from the Prophecy Club, and how a lot of the members of his church were having visions, of, America being, people having NUKESs, pocket ones, and they hid them. I think he said 50, and they hid them in America, different cities in America, and his people that went to his church, certain ones of them that were having visions of them going off in different major cities in America, and that is a very possible possibility, because the way these devils operate with these false flags, they'll create something and make it and blame it on somebody else so that they could start a war with them and be so-called justified. So with all this going on, people are having visions of the end of the world. They're having visions of Armageddon. They're having visions of, the close of this empire, this society. And the reason why many people are having the same visions, not just dreams but visions, is because these things are, going to happen. It's already written. And the Lord has given visions to certain individuals, so that they can tell the vision of things that are coming, which are biblical. We in turn around and use the scriptures to show you that these things are accurate according to what's written. So I just got a couple of precepts, to see, where we can go with this. This is Job 33:15. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, and slumberings upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men and sealeth their instructions. So this can go for, sealing the instructions of what they're going to do the next day or the next few days or whatever the case may be. And also to show them visions of things that are coming. It says that he may withdraw man from his purpose and hide pride from man. Because these are, you have laws, you have judgments, you have history in the scriptures, you have prophecy, all right? And the prophecies that are written down were also visions that the prophets saw, back in the days, that they wrote down, because this is the way that the Lord, makes things happen. Let me just get this precept right quick, and then I want to look up this particular word, but let me get the precept so I don't forget it. Let me just hold on to this, and then I can go and look up this particular word. Okay, so the word I want to look up is just a definition for the word vision, right? And we're going to read a couple of precepts on that, and then, maybe a short lesson and maybe a little longer. Let's see. Let me just write this down. Okay, vision. It says the faculty or state of being able to see, the ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom, an experience of seeing someone or something in a dream or trance or as a supernatural apparition, a person or sight of unusual beauty. So we're looking more so at the experience of seeing someone or something in a dream or trance or as a supernatural apparition. Let me see. What is vision meaning? The act or power of seeing objects, colors, shapes. Okay. What are the four types of vision? Nope, that's dealing with actual vision. Right here. What does it mean to see a vision? A vision is something seen in a dream, trance, or religious ecstasy, especially a supernatural appearance that usually conveys a revelation. All right? Visions generally have more clarity than dreams, but traditionally fewer psychological connotations. And that goes hand in hand with Isaiah 42, verse 9, where it says, behold, the former things have come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. So the Lord gives us signs and visions. Then he sends the prophets out, and it's the job of the prophet to teach the word. And eventually those words that the prophet speaks will manifest in due time. All right? Just like it says in the book of Second Peter chapter 1 and verse 19, it says we have also a more sure word of prophecy, because the prophecies are sure. It's just a matter of time. You see, a lot of people get caught up because they don't actually see these things happening. But the visions are sure. It's just a matter of time for them to be, in order for them to be fully fulfilled. Habakkuk 2:1 real quick. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon a tower. This is the prophet Habakkuk, and this is what the prophets did. They would actually, have visions that would occur to them, and then they would in turn, once they received the vision, then they would go and tell the rest of Israel what was coming, whether it was something, a good omen, or whether it was a bad omen, right? It says, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it, right? Because the ones that hear the vision and believe it, what are they going to do? They're going to try to see what it is that they can do to be protected from what's coming. And one of the main protections comes in the form of the names of Yahweh and Yahushai. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, right? So everything about prophecy is predicated upon time. So it says that for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. And how do the prophecies speak? By certain events that take place on the earth that show that, okay, the scripture says so and such, and this what's happening right now on the earth, this is a fulfillment of this particular prophecy. Just like the Lord said, for a good example, as the Lord said that he would have, a smith, right, that was going to create a waster to destroy. Now, when did that take place? That took place during the 40s and 50s, when Esau actually got the ability to create these nuclear, hydrogen bombs, atomic bombs, so on and so forth. And that's what brought about that prophecy when it made it come to pass. Then eventually, once those missiles are shot, then it'll bring forth the other part of the vision, which is, the lake of fire and this thermonuclear destruction that's coming to Babylon the Great, which is America, right? It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie, right? Because the dream and these visions are certain. Though it tarry, though it seems like it's taking a long time, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Why? Because we have a more sure word of prophecy, as we're reading in 2 Peter 1 and 19. We have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto you do well that you take heed, right? And that's the thing. Those that can hear the voice of Yahushua, they'll take heed. As unto a light that shineth in a dark place, that's Yahushua shining his light upon the elect, until the day dawn and the day star arise in your hearts. And who is the day star? Yahushua. Knowing this first, that no prophecy of the scriptures of any private interpretation, for the prophecy came not in old time by the will of man, but holy men of the Most High spake, as they were moved by the Holy Spirit. So they were moved by the Holy Spirit. This is what made them prophesy. This is what made them speak these things aloud to Israel. And right now what we're witnessing is all of these prophecies that were written by the ancient prophets happening right now on the world scene. All right? So let's go from there to Joel chapter 2 and verse 28. It says, and it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. And your son, oh, matter of fact, before I read this, precept just came to mind. Just bear with me 1 second. Let's go to the book of Numbers, chapter 12. Right, this is Numbers 12 and 6. And he said, this is the Most High speaking, hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, Yahweh, will make myself known unto him in a vision and will speak unto him in a dream. So this is how the Lord brings forth his words, by visions, by dreams, which are something that is happening in another dimension. But the problem is that we can't see it because we're in this dimension. So the Lord shows visions of the future to his prophets, and they in turn will go and teach the people, teach Israel. And then let the nations also know what their judgment is going to be. So when we go back to Joel 2 and 28, and it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. How will they prophesy? They'll see visions, and they'll speak of these things. You know, and eventually those things will come to pass because it was a vision that was given to them in their brain, in their mind. Your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit. Right, because the Lord is accomplishing and fulfilling the words that he spoke that he would fulfill. You know, so when Stan Johnson of the Prophecy Club had those individuals, members of his church or of his congregation, that were having those visions of these pocket NUKESs going off around, you know, Babylon the Great, America, this is prophecy. These are visions that they seen. You know, and this very well could be something that Esau does, the so-called bankers, in order to push America to get into particular other wars and eventually shoot off these missiles here, and that's going to trigger everything. But before all of that could happen, the MOTB, which is the micro sea hit, the whole system has to be fully set in place. Because if not, then the other prophecy of World War III and the destruction and the kingdom can't come until these prophecies are fulfilled. Because the Most High said he's not a man that he should lie. If he says something, he's going to back it up. He's going to make sure that it comes to pass. And he's the one making it come to pass. You know, that's why, you know, from time to time I always say prophecy is dictated by time. Because once a prophecy is fulfilled, or once a certain time period goes by, once it comes to the point, okay, well, the very next day or within the next few hours, this prophecy is going to be fulfilled. And once the next few hours happen, boom, prophecy drops. You know, so the Lord has a time period on, you know, on prophecy. Let's go real quick to the book of Job, chapter 14 and verse 5. It says, seeing his days are determined, see, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass, or everything is dictated upon time. Prophecy is dictated upon time. When you have your age or your eon, That is a certain amount or a certain allotted time for rulership. Each empire had their time to rule, and each empire fell when their time was up. It's no different with this new American empire that's governing and ruling the world. They had a beginning stage, and then they have an end stage, and we're coming very close to their cutoff date. All right, we're coming very close to that. We're almost at the end of that. So when we go to Daniel 2:44, which is where I actually got the title for the lesson, it says, and in the days of these kings, meaning the four beasts that Daniel saw in his vision, and then in this particular case, the four beasts that he saw in Daniel 7, he saw them all mingled in this statue that he saw with the head of gold, the breast of silver, so on and so forth. Right? It says, and in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom. And that kingdom is going to be Yahweh kingdom / Yasha Allah's kingdom, because we're joint heirs with the Lord. And God is not going to come back up and take Israel back down and put him in captivity for 1,000 years. That's lunacy. That's bugged outism. All right, and in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. So if what you're saying is true, then you're calling the Most High a liar. Talking about Bishop Nathaniel, saying that once we get Esau in captivity, they're gonna break away from and put us in captivity for 1,000 years. Are you out of your fucking mind? It says, which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. Why? Because when Yahushua comes back, he is that stone that's going to destroy all of these empires. And he is going to take the credit for taking them down. That's why it says he's King of Kings and Lord of Lords, and he had a bunch of crowns. But those crowns represent he took the titles of these different nations. And now they're subjugated under him when he comes back. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, this is a prophecy that has not come to pass yet. All right? And that it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold. The great power hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. That's why we have a more sure word of prophecy. And these prophecies don't come, they didn't come by way of the interpretation of man. It was a holy man of the Most High that spake as they were moved by the Holy Spirit. And that's why when you read these scriptures and you read about the prophecies and you're looking at in the world stage today of what's happening, you see them playing out just like the Lord said they would play out. The only difference is back then they had to write, the visions in the words and phrases that they understood back then. During the time of the prophets, going all the way back to the beginning, right? Like in Isaiah 34, I'll give you an example. Isaiah 34:4, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. Now this is speaking about a mushroom cloud, what Esau calls today a mushroom cloud. Matter of fact, let's see what it says. If we type in mushroom cloud, let's see what it says for a definition of mushroom cloud. Mushroom cloud definition. Definition, okay. Mushroom cloud. A mushroom-shaped cloud of dust and debris formed by a nuclear explosion. And you could type that in. Those of you that have never seen a mushroom cloud, you could type in on Google, type in mushroom cloud, and then go to images, and you'll see a bunch of clouds that look like a mushroom. That's why they call them a mushroom cloud. But when the prophet Isaiah saw it, and also the prophet, John, the apostle John, saw it, they saw it in the same fashion, and they described it the same way of the terms that were available in their days. So going back to Isaiah 34:4, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all the hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth from off the fig tree. As the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. So, in other words, when the destruction comes, it's going to destroy everything in its path. You know, and it's going to fall like a fig falls out of a tree. Like you hear the apostle explaining, like in an arcing fashion. All right, and that's how the missiles are going to come down. You know, now you have the ICBMs, which is the intercontinental ballistic missile. You also have the hypersonic missiles, and you have many other stuff that these devils got that are going to wreak havoc on the earth. You know, and right now as we speak, there was I believe that's the same interview with Tucker Carlson and Vladimir Putin. And Putin was saying that I don't understand why, you know, if Germany is providing weapons, I believe it was, to Ukraine, why can't they allow the Russian oil or gas or whatever the case may be to go through there to get to Germany when Germany has to pay a whole lot more for other sources of gas because they're not allowed to get their gas from Russia or however that goes. And the very first thing I thought of when I heard that is that the 10 horns shall hate the whore, and Germany is one of those 10, and they're going to hate this whore. This is why the Lord said they're going to burn it with fire. Matter of fact, let me get that, and then we could come back to this. Let's go to Revelation 17. So you can see that all of this that you see going on is ordained of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So before I read that, I just had another precept that came to mind. Let me pull that up. If I remember it, let's see. Let's go to Proverbs. There's a couple of them, but I don't remember one. Proverbs 16:1. The preparation of the heart in man and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. Now, let's go to the same book of Proverbs. And let's go, I believe that's the 21st chapter. And the first verse, beautiful. The king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So whatever the Most High wants to do, that's what's going to happen. Right? So when we go to Revelation 17:16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, which represents the EU, the European Union, used to be the EEC, the European Economic Community. It says, in the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, which Germany happens to be a part of it, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. So they're going to use the same weaponry that they have to protect themselves against other countries and against enemies. They're going to use them against America. Because America is making a lot of different decisions, which they have been making for years. And it's affecting those European countries. So eventually they're going to get sick of this place. This is why Turkey, you know, I said, the hell with that. We're still going to trade with the Russians and so on and so forth. You know, because Turkey ain't having it. So eventually these other European nations that have the nuclear capability, they're going to get tired of dealing with America's bullshit. And they're going to shoot their missiles over here also at America, Babylon the Great. Why? We read on the 17th verse, for the Most High hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, which is what? His prophecies, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, unto the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. That's your one world government. And it says, unto the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. And that's what's going to happen. That's why, as we read earlier, the dream is certain. We also have a more sure word of prophecy. So when we go to Isaiah 34:4 once again, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. So this is the prophecy that was given to Isaiah, and Isaiah wrote the vision down in the phrases and words and terminologies that were available in his day. They didn't have mushroom clouds back then. They didn't have the terminology of ICBM. They didn't have the terminology of hypersonic missile. There was no such thing as missiles back then. Even though they saw them in the vision, even though they saw the nuclear explosion, the nuclear destruction, they saw the so-called mushroom clouds and all of that. But the terminology of missiles and all that didn't exist back then. ICBM and intercontinental ballistic missiles. You have hypersonic missiles. You had Tomahawk missiles. All that didn't exist back then. Just like when they saw planes in the skies in their visions, they had to describe it as something that they could understand in their time. This is why the Apostle John called those World War I planes. He called them what? Locusts, because they look like locusts when you look at them. Flying locusts, but that was only he couldn't say, well, the Wright. Remember when you go back to the Wright brothers, remember they had Kitty Hawk. They were the first one to take flight, and that's what you had the prototype for the airplane. What you see the Boeing Jet 7, whatever the names are today, stealth bombers and all that. They didn't have that terminology back then, so they had to explain it in the words that they had back then. All right. Another example is Revelation the 9th chapter when it speaks about the missiles. It's given a description of the missiles as the Apostle John was able to describe it as best as he could with the terminology that he had available at the time. All right. So it goes on to say, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved. What are the hosts of heaven? This is dealing with all of the planes, Esau's military. The militaries that are going to be up in the skies are going to be dissolved. And also, when the missiles go up, it's going to look like the hosts of heavens being rolled together. It says, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down. Yeah, because the nations, and actually, if there's any planes in the skies, when that day comes, guess what? They're coming down. Because there's another scripture that says that even the birds in the heaven are going to shake, when those missiles pelt down on the soils of America, the land of Israel, and wherever else they're going to hit. As the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword, so what is the Lord's sword? The Lord's sword are his missiles. Let's go, I'm not sure if that's Jeremiah 50 or 51. Let's see. Let me just go because I'm trying to think of the wording. I can't. It's there, but it's not. You know what? Let me try this. Here we go. Jeremiah 50 and 25. Shy. Sometimes remember just that one key word will help you out. I'm going to start at Jeremiah 50 and 22. The point is in 25. So the sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. This is a future prophecy that has not been fulfilled yet, but it's kind of getting to the point where it's starting to be fulfilled because you're starting to hear the sound of the battle and great destruction coming. Because even this devil, Einstein said, I don't know what weapons, World War III will be fought with, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. Because he was alive during the time when they were creating these hydrogen bombs, atomic bombs, so on and so forth, the nuclear capability, the nuclear era, the race, I believe they call it the, I forgot. I was looking at it yesterday actually. I forget the terminology, something along the lines of weapons, race or something like that. So it says, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Right, because this is what the prophet Jeremiah saw, was he saw America after its destruction. He saw it being destroyed and he saw it after the destruction. Because you have to remember, this is considered to be a golden city. This is why you have these migrants coming to this country, because it's painted as a golden city until they get here and they realize what it really is. Most of these nations are deceived to come here. So when she becomes a desolation, they're gonna be like, my goodness, how has she become a desolation among the nations? This was the pinnacle of kingdoms. This was the greatest empire on the planet, military force and everything. What happened to it? It says, I have laid a snare for thee, meaning a trap, and thou art also taken. O Babylon, and thou was not aware. Thou art found and art also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So keep talking your talk. Remember, the scripture said that this beast was given a great mouth, speaking blasphemy. So keep on yapping, keep on yapping. The Lord hath opened his armory. This is the point. What is an armory? A place where you have weapons, stored. And hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord, power of hosts, in the land of the Chaldeans. Okay? So going back to Isaiah 34:5, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. So what is the Lord's sword? It's talking about those nuclear missiles that are going to come pelting down, on America, which is known biblically as Babylon the Great, because you're not going to find the word America in the Bible. That word did not exist back then. Again, when you read prophecy are symbols, signs, allegories, that are used in parabolic form in certain cases to describe a future event that's going to take place. They didn't have the certain terminology that we have today. That's why we was to appear back in the ancient world. Certain talk that they would be speaking, first of all, we wouldn't understand much of the language, depending on where we're at, and we wouldn't understand why they say certain things. Just like today, people wouldn't understand today's speeches, unless they lived in this time and understood why they would say certain things. You see, it says, "Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea." Idumea is the Greek way of saying Edom, which Edom is an English way of saying the Hebrew Adawam, which means red. Adawam, which means red. Right? And upon the people of my curse to judgment. Wait a minute, didn't that woman say, or no, Miss Know-It-All, didn't she say that dingbat? Didn't she say that when it says God hates Esau, he only hates Esau the man, not the people. We read in Malachi 1, and also in Isaiah 34, that Idumea, or the Edomites, are the people upon, or it says, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. Because they're the cursed of the Lord. They're the ones that are set aside for destruction. They are the wicked that are reserved for the day of wrath. They've been tailor-made for this. These are all prophecies. Then when we read the Apocrypha, it says that Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So all we're doing is speaking about the things that the Lord is going to bring to pass, and then he's bringing them to pass slowly but surely. And now they're coming closer and closer and quicker, because we're almost at the end of this bitch. All these devils got to do is push that MOTB fully on the planet, and you'll see how fast this whole falls. Then Yahweh said, I seen Satan as lightning fall from heaven. Wait till they push that MOTB, which is the micro C here. Watch how fast everything's going to move. And then you're going to see these false prophets that have been speaking against the MOTB being the micro C scrambling like they're already doing now. Some of them are ignoring it. They ain't even talking about it. And some of them are trying to plaster that untempered mortar, trying to, so when it does come to pass, they say, well, we always been talking about that. Fucking hypocrites, man. No character as hypocrites. That shit is amazing, but it's all right, though. It's okay. So I wanted to do a lesson on this because, like I said, I remember doing a lesson maybe about a month and a half, 2 months ago. And when I heard the brother, the apostle was playing the brother's video, and I heard him speak about the dream or vision that people were having about these things going off, and it made me think of that one video that I was watching, which was actually the health ranger Mike Adams, which was interviewing Stan Johnson of the Prophecy Club, and he was saying how a lot of the members of his church were having the same vision of different pocket NUKESs going off all through America. You know, and he was saying that there was it was something that happened, I forget the year, but that they hid like 50 different pocket NUKESs in different major cities in America. Now, whether that's true or not, we don't know, but it's very possible that something like that could go off, because we've heard this talk back in the 90s, you know, of a possible pocket, you know, going off in a major city. And that could bring some serious shutdown, some serious, you know, people will be horrified and terrified to where they would accept, you know, the so-called New World Order. Which I was watching The Truth Is, that brother The Truth Is. I'm not sure if he's Ephraim or Issachar. And pretty much he was breaking down the ritual at the Super Bowl with Usher, because Usher, you know, you have an usher that ushers in, you know, the New World Order, which this year is really when they're pushing it even more and more. You know, and there was a whole satanic ritual that was happening to usher in, and it's no coincidence that his name is Usher, to usher in this New World Order. You know, because they're right there. It's right there at the threshold. You know, they just gotta stop pussyfooting and hurry up and push that MOTB even harder, and you'll see how fast things will start moving then. You know, so with that, you know, I pray that your brothers and few sisters have been edified. So the next time I say Shalom, and Tawada for tuning in, and Tawada for all the precepts and, you know, that you brothers put in. Shalom.